both ways. But let's go ahead and introduce our players. In the top right, representing Team AT Gaming, it is our light blue Zerg. This game suck. And you can take the player in the bottom left.
Yeah, of course. It is none other than the very renowned Harstem, representing Fnatic in the bottom left. Of course, spawning as the pink Protoss. And I'm sort of excited to see whether or not we're... Well, actually, no, I'm not anymore, because I already know we're going to see yet another Forge Fast Expand here from Harstem. Forge Fast Expand lends, itself to a lot of potential when it comes to two-base all-ins. And we have seen this, we've talked about it. This is a map where it wouldn't be surprising to see two-base all-ins, and maybe Harstem just decides to, I'm going to make this game short once again, and whether or not he's successful, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yep, he's still got, it's not impossible to go for a third. You can also go for a different tech. Maybe try air. Not a huge fan of getting air in this situation, just because air kind of helps you secure space and maybe go for a third base, which is a lot harder than this map. But well, we'll have to see how he wants to deal with it. Maybe he might even metagame it and try to take that third base. I don't know. Who knows? But I don't know. We'll have to see what these two guys do. And we're going to see most likely that Forge Fast Expand for sure. We see the pile on the low ground, so no surprise there. And it's a little easier to wall off here, so I think we might see the Nexus first this time around.
Yeah, that does almost seem to be the case for a couple of different reasons. We saw the probe sort of bail right out of that natural very early on, and of course we don't have a Forge at 16 supply right now. I remember there used to be some build which incorporated a fairly late Forge. I can't really remember why, but usually it does indicate a Nexus first indeed, and that's precisely what we're seeing right now. Unfortunately for this game sucks, of course he's going for the pool first when he would be absolutely fine going to hatch first. Not going to have far too much implications, but maybe some drone scouting would allow him to make this slightly better response.
Harstem getting a pretty darn good probe block off here at for the natural base, blocking as long as he can until that probe can't take another hit really. But the hatchery does go down a little bit later than he would like, but not the biggest deal in the world. Overlord scouting out the natural, seeing pretty much expected stuff, but does spot out the Nexus first for sure. So both players pretty much know what's going on at this point in time. Harstem even getting the scout off in the main base with the probe.
Yeah, he sees no gases. It's he doesn't have any reason to suspect anything other than standard play. In the course of, actually, I'm just about to mention, we might just see that third base being planted down right away, and it looks like there is a drone being sent out to do precisely that. Oh, I thought that probe maybe was gonna go for some pylon blocking and just being a menace, but it turns out it's not really gonna accomplish that much because it died.
Yeah, it did spot that drone moving, and if Harstem was watching that, he'll know that that third base is almost guaranteed to be on the way now, unless he's going for some sort of massive fake by canceling a third and just all-inning. No, he's not going to do that. But so he saw the drone, so he knows that this third base is coming. So he should feel confident in going with whatever build he wanted to, knowing that the Zerg player is playing pretty standard at this point in time. 4 lings at the front, not going to be able to do a whole lot. Cannon here, and yeah, so we should settle back into that point. The sort of Wings of Liberty downtime, I almost want to call it in this matchup, where he's kind of wait for things to happen.
Yeah, myself, I've been a fan of Gateway expanding for very, very long, and I am so glad we're seeing it so often here in Heart of the Swarm. But of course, whenever we don't, we usually have this large, I was about to say stalemate, but I guess it's more an idle period of time, because no one really benefits from taking the first move, being the first aggressor at this point in time. It's sort of like a Mexican standoff, but I guess there's only 2 people.
Yep, pretty much just like that. And now that the Cybernetics core is done, curious to see what Harstem will add on next in addition. Warp Gate plus 1R on the way, so no surprise tremendously there, but looking forward to his next tech choice. The Zealot, gonna live. Cannon helping him out, so...
I mean, he would technically live even if he, perished or whatever we should call it, because he would be teleported back to some Protoss planet. Because someone told me this, and I have absolutely zero knowledge of any StarCraft lore, but that's actually a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, man, never dying. I mean, just keep fighting. Who cares? It's great. Come back as an immortal. I think Stalkers are also Templar and reincarnated mechanical form. So there's a bunch of ways to come back as a Protoss. So. Cool way to do it. Mothership core is out, moving across the map, and, well, going to run right by that Overlord. So Zerg will know this is coming, but Mothership core going to do what he can and just kind of bother people a bit and see what damage he can do here around these
Yeah.
queens. But there are spine crawlers on the way. Oh, that's like, I thought it would be a spore, so I'm kind of freaking out there. But queens are at each base, so he should be fine against this mothership core. Not going to do a whole lot.
Are we having the same build? I would say that we have a very similar build, but perhaps not the same. We see the gases being taken at an earlier point, I'd like to imagine. But it is the 4-gate, and it's the +1, and there we go, it's the Robo-Fall as well. And let's see, oh, there's a probe here which will place down a very convenient proxy pylon. And this is the exact same build once again. Let's see if Harstem is as successful this game.
Yep, and, well, looking at pretty much, this game suck looks to me in a very similar position. The Roach Warren is just about finished. Actually, I think a little bit earlier this game, so going to get a bit earlier Roaches out here to try and defend against this. But, yep, very much the same poke. The Zealot's already a bit wounded from the start, so that first Zealot's not going to be quite as effective, but more Zealots warping in as we speak. But the Spine Claw already at the third actually going to help out quite a bit here as well. So I think this game suck is already looking in a bit better of a position. The Spine Clawers will just help out a ton. These Roaches need to not rally to their deaths, but it's okay. Drones and Roaches just kind of filing through. Not really sure what's going on there, but
you know, when you mass produce, you don't really keep check of quality and all that. So, but I'm a bit, well, the creep spread is fairly well, so it would be very hard to. But I'm a bit surprised we didn't see at least a bit of poking into the natural. And it looks like this game sucks actually still produces a whole lot of units, and I guess he produces it with the intention to defend the Sentry Mortar follow-up, which he most likely expects at this point in time. And there we go, actually, the fairly early Hydra Den, which definitely speaks for just that type of defense.
Yeah, and 3 more gateways now on the way, but that Hydra Den will be done. The Hydra Den will be done first. So, and like Hydras, we saw them. They kind of came up a bit late to the party in game number 1. So this time, like this game suck has the same sort of like foundation, but he's getting it a little bit faster. The 4-gate pressure was not quite as good. The Spine Crawler was a really nice investment there at the third base, I think, to really deny that poke in. Getting a macro hatch as well. Really looking forward to just looking to like power units out and just kind of defend this with everything he has. And well, he does know what's coming. The Overlord here gonna try and scout out what he can, but being poked around by this by these couple of stalkers, that kind of is a bit painful for him. But still looking to defend here, and we'll see how he handles it. I mean, Sentry Immortal, even with the Hydras, is still could be pretty effective depending on how the engagement goes. So we'll just have to wait and see how the fight actually goes, because it's coming across the map right now.
Yeah, definitely. That one proxy pylon, which was so convenient, hasn't really been spotted. I'm a bit surprised it hasn't been scoured for either. And it will be very, very convenient once again. However, we do, of course, have the War Prism on its way as well. The Pro's force is a bit split up right here, but when it sort of comes about collecting itself again, we have so many force fields, and they could absolutely exclude, a lot of Lings
do
going
get
down
through,
right
but
now.
the Roaches are all shut out by the force field, so right now it's pretty much just Lings. They're not engaging very cost effectively at all, running into those Zealots. Time Warp going down as well, trapping Hydras in the force fields, and, well, we were saying it would all come out how the battle would go, and, well, it looks like Harstem has handled this battle pretty much as well as you can so far up to this point.
Yeah, I do feel that mostly when we see this type of play, we have the Pros trying to protect his army from the units, but in this case, it was more of, trying to get the Zerg not to leave, because he was in a very, very heavy army lead at that point in time. And that's the 2-0 in the first best out of 3, isn't it?
Yep, Harstem is the losers bracket player, so they do now have to play another best of 3, but right now, Harstem's build is looking pretty good, and, I mean, the onus is on his opponent, really, to try to come up with some way to stop it right now, because it's looking very strong at this point in time. Maybe some, I'm thinking maybe I'm trying to think maybe 2 base Muta or something like that would be like a kind of a nice idea of a reaction, but then you're also not getting that third base. I'm trying to think how he can actually react to this and defend himself, because these fights are just not going his way so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, besides the absolutely best answer to this, which is Bird Banelings, I must say, I don't actually know far too much. I mean, generally, I would consider that the most important thing, and I would almost say the biggest flaw of the play for This Game Sucks in these 2 maps is actually that he hasn't gotten enough out. I mean, regardless of what he actually produces, he needs to produce a whole lot. And he does waste quite a bit of resource. I mean, even this game, when he didn't lose a single drone, to that 4-gate initial pressure with
Yep.
+1, he built a lot of units. He built spine crawlers. He even actually did lose a drone and maybe even 2 roaches or something like that. But Harstem managed to squeeze out, I mean, a very, very cost-effective trading right there without even engaging. So, I mean, that sort of began the downfall for This Game Sucks, and he can't really afford doing that, especially when he knows there is a Sentry Immortal follow-up. And he should know, because, of course, it's a reoccurring theme from Harstem right now.